This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
American Graduate Getting to Work is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Just ahead on Carolina Impact, back to school means more college loans for millions, but not for these lucky students.
The fall semester is well underway at Central Piedmont Community College, but without the help of some generous donors, 75 students may not be here. I'm Jason Terzis. Tonight, some of the obstacles overcome by those students and one of those donors in particular.
And there's a new cafe in town, and it does so much more than serve food. Here, they serve hope. And some of them are already country music stars today. Others hope to make it big in the future, but they all call the Carolinas home. We'll take you on stage with part of our PBS special, Country in the Carolinas. Carolina Impact starts right now.
Carolina Impact, covering the issues, people, and places that impact you. This is Carolina Impact.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. More than 44 million Americans have student loans, totaling more than $1.5 trillion. Families everywhere feel the pinch as tuition costs continue to soar. However, there is help, and sometimes that help comes from people who have their own powerful stories. As Carolina Impact's Jason Terzis tells us, 130 students at Central Piedmont Community College started college this fall debt-free.
There's a lot to celebrate when 130 plus students earn a full scholarship to college. But when one of the major benefactors shares her personal story, her why for wanting to help those students, it's powerful.
I might look like I have it all together, but growing up, I was an underachiever. I was a disappointment to my parents and to my teachers.
While some people may look at Sally Gambrell Bridgeford and hear of her family roots, they may assume she's had a charmed life. But like many, she's had her share of struggles.
I was an alcoholic and drug addict.
She started drinking when she was just 11, and by the time she got to college, Sally was drug addicted.
Freshman year for me was 4 years of my life.
But she had help to kick those habits, and by 24 had her life back in order.
Since then, I have been sober and clean for 35 years.
Was able to find my way back to school, was able to finish school, was able to go and get a master's degree.
But believe me, when I go back to my high school, I shocked a lot of people. They didn't think I was gonna make it.
It's overcoming that adversity that makes Sally want to give back.
Because people helped me make it. I didn't make it on my own.
This is year 3 of Central Piedmont Community College's Opportunity Scholars Program, the school partnering with local donors who provide scholarships to students who may not otherwise be able to attend college.
This past May, we had our first graduating class. They're outpacing their colleagues and their peers in terms of GPA, so they're doing a fantastic job.
The full ride scholarships pay for everything from tuition and textbooks.
And we're looking at textbook prices. It's pretty high.
To backpacks, even Chromebooks. Over a 5-year period, the Gambrell Foundation is providing 3,500 laptops to Central Piedmont students.
And I was like, free? Like, what? It was a huge, like, okay.
They've never even, some of them, imagined that they were going to get an opportunity to go to college. And so for somebody to make an investment in them and not ask for a thing in return, except take the opportunity, run with it, and go make something great of yourself.
Of the 75 freshman Opportunity Scholars, 25 are being sponsored by the Gambrell Foundation.
At first, I had no idea who they were. Like, I don't want to say that in a disrespectful way, I just didn't know who they were.
Started in the 80s, the foundation's mission is to help bridge the gap of inequities in society.
The foundation was started by my mom. It was part of her family tradition to give back to the community wherever they operated the business Belk stores. So her father would help open churches, give buildings for schools. So she was just raised that way, and I was raised that way.
Sally's mom, Sarah Belk Gambrell, is the daughter of W.H. Belk Sr., founder of the Belk department stores. Celebrating her 100th birthday last year, Sarah is still going strong, but it's Sally who now runs the foundation.
All the different things that some of us get, it's referred to now as social capital, that a lot of us get, that some people don't get.
Sally knows not everyone has the means like she did, whether financial or personal support, to overcome life's obstacles.
That's why I'm in this.
I wouldn't say she was like privileged, but I had like this initial perception of her. I understand that she's human, you know, and like I shouldn't pass judgment so quickly. But after listening to her, I could tell that, you know, she genuinely meant what she was saying.
Perhaps no student exemplifies what the Opportunity Scholars Program is all about better than Amia Frazier. Just 2 weeks before graduating high school, a falling out with her mother led to Amia being out on the streets.
You know, fast forward to May 26th, you know, I'm homeless. It was, I don't want to say traumatizing, because like that's basically what it was, to be blunt about it. It was traumatizing, and there's still a lot to unpack today, even just like talking about it.
Between a hotel and temporary housing, Amia is getting by, but navigating real-life issues most 18-year-olds don't have to deal with.
Because a lot of kids at my age, they're not worried about like paying a rent or having to use food stamps to get groceries and stuff. They're not worried about that because they have a home with either their parents.
That's why being a Gambrell Opportunity Scholar means so much to Amia. Without it, there's no way she'd be able to afford college.
It's heartwarming because, you know, when we was at the reception and they came and they were like genuine, like happy for us, and they were like, all they care about is like education and making sure that everyone is able to afford education and stuff like that, so it means a lot.
Sally and Amia may not know each other's story, but they're now connected, and that means something to each of them.
It's an honor to be able to give back.
Yeah, it came at a good time too, so that's why it really means more, and that's why I'm gonna do my best to like succeed in class and push through.
And our philanthropic partners are making an investment not only in them, but they're making an investment for what they believe in that this college can do for our community, and so we are so thankful for that.
Investing in the future, investing in students who may not otherwise have the chance. That's what the Opportunity Scholars Program is all about. For Caroline Impact, I'm Jason Terzic reporting.
So excited for that opportunity for those young people. Thanks so much, Jason. This is the third year for the Opportunity Scholarships. It's available to graduating students from Garinger, Harding, Vance, West Charlotte, West Mecklenburg, and some other CMS high schools. Well, our community has embraced the desire to create pathways for our residents to climb out of poverty. From large corporations to small nonprofits, creating opportunity for everyone unites us. The Charlotte Rescue Mission has a special program making a difference called the Community Matters Cafe. Carolina Impact's Todd Wallace shares how this cafe changes lives with every cup.
At Community Matters Cafe, good coffee and great conversation are always on the menu.
Anything else?
Customers can also order sandwiches, cookies, pastries, or pancakes. A virtual buffet for lunch or breakfast.
Oh, the food is awesome. The food is awesome. And if you need a recommendation, I can tell you which things I like the best.
Customers line up, but for the employees, this cafe, located here on West 1st Street, focuses on more than just developing excellent service and fine culinary skills.
I have no doubt in my mind that if I had not decided to take treatment, I probably would be dead right now.
Ashley McAllister says she's very much alive because Community Matters Cafe is a part of Charlotte Rescue Mission, a safe haven and recovery shelter for people struggling with the disease of addiction who, like Ashley, hit rock bottom and often have nowhere else to go.
It's progressive. Addiction is highly progressive. So people who think that they can just do something a little bit or you know, here and there or whatever they think, like I thought the exact same thing, and 12 years later, I was a heroin addict.
I always say this is their last stop typically. These are men and women who've exhausted their family, their resources. They're typically homeless, couch surfing, jobless, and they've gotten to the bottom of their addiction. And what winds up happening is they surrender. They say, I've had enough.
I gotta take this back here. The employees are called students, and working at the cafe gives them an additional 4 months of treatment and support. It's the extra help Tony Otis says he needs toward his recovery.
I found this place here, and I'm learning more things now about my disease of addiction.
For instance, sobriety is not only staying away from substances. Life Skills Operations Director Ed Price says staying clean is also about cleaning up the areas in a recovering addict's life that may lead them back down the path toward addiction.
And then while they're here, we work on credit, motor vehicle, bank issues. Sometimes there's bad bank fees and check fees that are out there that are outstanding. It's the little things that will take someone in recovery and send them back to those old habits.
And this on-the-job training, from cooking to washing dishes or making a cup of joe to go along with that sweet treat, is less about getting a job and more about learning how to keep one.
Life skills, social skills, people skills, soft skills. If I used the words of one of my students, they would say that they forgot how to behave. They got so far down in their addiction, they forgot what it's like to be on time. It's confrontation, conflict resolution.
Community Matters Cafe opened in April, and in well under a year, the impact of this faith-based nonprofit eatery can be heard in the laughter or even read on the wall with these letters from recent graduates. Cynthia writes, "You guys have poured your hearts and souls into this for us, and it shows." And then there is Ashley, who begged a nurse not to give her pain medication during a recent medical emergency because she's a recovering addict.
And she said, you know, my mom's been in active addiction for many years. And I think that it was like, these are happy tears. It was like a very proud moment for me because I know that as long as I continue to do the next right thing, like my daughter will never have to look at someone with that pain in her face and say, my mom is an addict. She can say, well, my mom was an addict. However, now she's not.
It hasn't taken long for the cafe to attract a whole lot of regulars who appreciate the meals and the message being served here one plate at a time.
And it goes right back to that quote, you know, you give a man fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man how to fish, you feed him for life. And they're feeding people for life here.
You know, I thank God I know that I can make it this time, no matter what.
Perhaps the best lesson these students are learning is that at this cafe, hope is the most important ingredient. For Carolina Impact, I'm Todd Wallace reporting.
Thanks so much, Todd, and welcome to our PBS Charlotte family. At Community Matters Cafe, 20 students in recovery work during each training cycle. For more information, check out our Carolina Impact page at pbscharlotte.org. Well, as we navigate the ever-changing high-tech world, have you thought what it would be like to go back in time? Say, 1766? There's a town in North Carolina that lets you do exactly that. In this One Tank Trip, producer Russ Hunsinger introduces us to Old Salem.
Old Salem is a living history museum, and it's a place that's not frozen in time. It's a place where you can experience the time of this town through generations and generations, beginning in the 1760s and even up to today. Salem was founded in 1766 by the Moravian Church, and Salem was established as a commerce center, a religious center, and a professional center for this broader tract. The church, of course, is central to the community, and religion permeated every single day. When you visit Old Salem, you immediately grasp the design ethic of these people, not only in the layout of the community, but also you note the architecture, which is right out of Central Europe.
The mission of Salem is teaching our visitors about the history through Salem and the Moravians and how that history can better inform the present day and our current decision-making process.
There is no other place like Old Salem. It is a treasure. And what you experience here is crafts, architecture, beauty, gardens, all these wonderful things. And it's done very authentically always because we have the remarkable Moravian records to use.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull it in a little bit.
During your visit, you will experience knowledgeable interpreters in all of the buildings. They're dressed in costumes appropriate to where they are.
We're in Old Salem's joinery in the wood shop, and so what we do as joiners is we make reproductions for the rest of the museum. We use all the same tools the Moravians would have used 200 to 250 years ago, and so we use the same tools and we use the same techniques.
You will see interpreters who were doing different crafts of that time period. It might be weaving tape, or it might be doing some patch sewing. We try to involve the guest as much as possible to make what was historical apply to life for them today, wherever they are and whoever they are. They get to see, touch, experience, and with as many senses as possible what life was like at that time and bring it into their world today.
We're at the historical Winkler Bakery. Hands-on activity includes everyone. It makes them all feel like they're all as one, that they become a part of the staff of the bakery and they can step back in time and experience what Brother Winkler and his family were doing over 200 years ago.
It's just amazing to me that all this was saved. It's important for us to have this experience to realize how the world was then and how it exists now.
Old Salem is a living and breathing, vibrant place. It's not stuck in time and the doors are not closed. It's open. It's like a large public park.
Thanks so much, Russ. Old Salem has fun events year-round, but Halloween trick-or-treating has both townspeople and the visitors dressed up. You may want to check it out. With Ken Burns' documentary, Country Music, you learned a lot about the history of country and bluegrass. As part of PBS Charlotte's Country in the Carolinas, we have the soundtrack and stories of current and rising stars who call the Carolinas home. Carolina Impact's Jeff Sonnier tells us more.
Just want to thank you guys for coming to our museum.
Here at the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, a young tour group listens to music they've never heard before.
There ain't no man can't save me. There ain't no
From a band they've never heard before. A group who grew up just like them, just down the road from here.
The Avett Brothers are from Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. They have just blown it out of the water with their careers.
The Avett Brothers get a big welcome home here at Merle Fest from fans who know every lyric from their chart-topping songs, sellout concerts.
ain't no man can't save me. There ain't no
The same lyrics they donated to the Hall of Fame, handwritten on scratch pads, notebook pages, even Post-it notes, back when the Avetts weren't so famous.
all it'll take is just one moment, and you can say goodbye to how we had it planned. Feel like
These are just like little tiny scraps of paper where Seth Avett, who is primarily the songwriter of the group, he just scribbled little things down. But these are little pieces of history that we have here, just written on little scraps of paper.
For whatever reason, it's such a huge part of us, this North Carolina thing. And for whatever reason, and there are a bunch of them, Merle Fest. It can't be explained. No, our North Carolina connection just can't be explained. No, outside of being born here and being raised here.
You can hear those cheers for the Avetts at this much smaller Merle Fest stage nearby, where another North Carolina bluegrass band is warming up. They're the Trailblazers from Mount Ulla, who still perform the traditional music they learned as kids at church.
I kind of grew up singing hymns and stuff, so I was playing a lot of those just finger style, not with a pick.
While also mixing in the original bluegrass tunes they're writing today.
We like to try to write what's known as progressive bluegrass. It's more of a jam kind of based music, and we love to jam out and improvise.
The Trailblazers are all either still in college or just out of college, often playing for fans a lot older than they are. Lead singer and flat pick guitarist Daniel Threlkill is a business major at UNC Charlotte. Learning to manage the band, he hopes, will become his musical career. How does the audience react when they see a bunch of guys in their 20s playing music that they probably grew up with?
You know, that a lot of people, if we're sticking to tradition and really playing to whoever we're listening to, they just, I hope they enjoy it, you know. A lot of people will come up and say, you know, thank you for carrying the song and you know, doing what you're doing. It's a gift. You know, I can't really say much more about that. It's a gift and a privilege. You know, I thank the Lord every opportunity I get to do this, and you know, it's just it's just a gift to be able to do it.
It's all about the local talent and giving these boys the opportunity to just get out here and sing.
Here in Maggie Valley, near Asheville, local fans of Weaverville native Joe Lasher crowd the stage.
Y'all have no idea how good this feels.
Lasher's success as a country singer already taking him from Asheville to Nashville.
Sing it with me!
I don't know what it is. Might be something in the water in North Carolina, but just the hometown roots, the experiences growing up. My dad was in a 90s rock band, played for years. But it was never something I imagined pursuing as a career until I went to the local pizza restaurant. I had my first 2-hour show. I was probably barely 16 years old.
You go, babe. You walk out there, when you see those faces, when you hear the applause, what's that like?
No way to describe it, man. There's nothing better. The positive energy and the vibes on stage, you know, it's a whole lot different than sitting on a stool with my acoustic guitar in the pizza restaurant, you know. I don't know how to explain it. Amazing support, amazing fans, a great family that supports what I'm doing. Hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. Hit the ground running, you know, just going for it.
Meanwhile, across North Carolina, here in Wilmington, fans flock to a concert by Greensboro native Rhiannon Giddens. She's not really a newcomer. She's already won a Grammy and been nominated for a Country Music Association award. She's admired as a singer, a songwriter, and a musician who plays the music, the homegrown music that she loves, and also is helping to preserve that music.
The Piedmont is full of, rich musical heritage. This music didn't just exist in the mountains, it was all over. I'm just connecting it to people. There was a novelty aspect to the fact that we're a black string band, for sure. We were kind of combining aspects of old time and bluegrass. So we're playing this really deeply rooted, groovy old time that we had learned from Joe Thompson and from other North Carolina musicians. Then, when I found out about history, and then it became more of a mission and kind of like, whoa, if we don't know about this, we don't know about the African roots of the banjo, if we don't know the fact that black people invented the banjo, what else aren't they telling us? The true American history, the true American narrative is amazing and fascinating and tragic and heartbreaking and all of those things together. But I am not afraid of that bright light. I think it's really important because the music is a history lesson for all of us, How our culture is reflected in the music of the time.
For Carolina Impact, I'm Jeff Sonia reporting.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Our local country in the Carolinas recently premiered on PBS Charlotte. Passport members can stream it anytime on any device. Well, that does it for us this week. We always appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you back here again next time on Carolina Impact. Good night, my friends.
American Graduate Getting to Work is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
A production of PBS Charlotte.